Yes, Hickok 45, shooting quietly, more quietly at least. Your internet shooting companion coming to you from the hills of Tennessee, the sprouting, budding hills, you notice, of Tennessee. A little green. You've noticed a change this week. I'm certain it was still pretty barren last week. So not bad, huh? Getting a little green everywhere. You wait till next week. It will be even greener, is my guess. Yes, because all these leaves start out green and they stay green until the fall. Yes, in Tennessee, they do. So, yeah, I gave my Beretta 92 in honor. Paul Harrell, right? One of his favorite guns, if not his favorite firearm. I've neglected it too often, and I'll tell you about that. Before I tell you anything, speaking of suppressors, at the NRA meeting again, I forgot to mention it in a video that's going up this week, but this one's going up this week. It's probably going up today. Yeah, today when you see it. So on the 26th of April, all right, it's just a couple weeks away or so, I'll be doing the meet and greets at the NRA meeting in Atlanta at Silencer Central booth at, see, that one's at 10 in the morning, 10 to 11 on Saturday. Okay, from 10 to 11, be there. And then in the afternoon, same day, 1 to 2 at the SDI booth. Okay, in the morning, 10 to 11, it's Silencer Central. You'd better be there. Really, might have a special treat for you. And then from 1 to 2 at SDI that afternoon. All right, so I wanted to get that out early. And yeah, oh yeah, Tennessee, I forgot, the home of Jeff Quinn. Yeah, I was going to mention Jeff. I hadn't mentioned him in a while. We miss him. So, although Bogue, his brother's doing a great job on that channel. What else? Yeah, got the Banish 9 on here, by the way. It's a relatively new one. It's hadn't been out all that long, and it's light, weighs nothing. I really, if you put this gun in my hand, blindfolded, loaded, ooh, dangerous. No, you put this firearm in my hand, loaded or not, with this on it, and with it not on it, I guess I could tell the difference, but not easily, not easily. A little piece of titanium, pretty simple. Okay, simple design and works. We've had trouble with 9mm suppressors working on Glocks over the years. Glocks are one of the worst firearms, and 9mm, to suppress. They just act up. The ammo, I mean, you can tweak them, I'm sure, to get it to where it's working, but my gosh, in 9mm, I have just about given up on Glocks. I have a threaded barrel for my Glock 43X43, and I've struggled with it at times. I still am going to get a weaker recoil spring, see if I can get that worked out to where I can shoot a suppressor successfully on that when I want to, okay? Or even a Glock 19, I don't know. They just, for some reason, they don't do as well. And you talk to anybody that makes suppressors, more studied in it than even I am, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, Glocks are, they're probably the worst handgun for suppressing. And I'm not sure all the mechanical reasons for that. But anyway, I got thinking about it. I was trying this on a pistol, a Glock, wasn't working right, you know. I got to get another gun. I even contacted the guys and gals at Silencer Central. I said, what in your experience, firearms in 9mm tend to do better, you know, with, suppressors because we all know Glocks are a challenge. They mentioned 2 or 3. It didn't really mention the Beretta, but I don't think, maybe they did. One of the SIGs, some different guns that do okay, a bunch of them actually. And I got to thinking about this. Maybe I was studying online too, and said that these do okay, the Beretta 92. And yeah, I need an excuse to get my 92 out more often. And so I ordered a barrel for it, or a threaded barrel for it. And it came in from Midwest something. I don't know, I forget who makes it, but well, that'll be, you know, this gun's been out long enough. Anybody that wants to make a barrel should know how to do it by now. So I wasn't worried about the maker necessarily, unless it came out of China or something. And got it in, and can I shoot it again while I'm yakking? And I've got 2 or 3 different kinds of ammo. It's done relatively well. Man, with Glocks, I can't get through a magazine without malfunctions. This is some 147, try this. And I thought I'd just pop the barrel in, take this one out, you know, and put the suppressor on and try it out. Had the ammo out already. I got the barrel out. Oh no. Okay, I got to take the lug off the old barrel. The locking block is not on it. The barrel didn't come with a locking block and everything. Okay, so I get to taking that off. Oh man, okay. It also doesn't have the little pin or the roll pin holding the pin in and all this kind of stuff. Oh man, okay. So I got to go get my punches and figure this thing out and get it out of there. And I guess I'm going to have a lot of faith in this new barrel, because I'm going to have to convert the old barrel to this, take all the parts off of the old barrel, the stock barrel. And so, yeah, okay, that's why I'm doing this, so I'm going to do it. And I had all kinds of trouble getting the pin. I didn't have a punch small enough was my problem. I had a punch set I bought from, I don't know, Brownells or somewhere, you know, with every size punch, pretty nice set. And from big to really pretty small, and I don't know the exact size of the smallest one, but it was not small enough, and I got it stuck in the hole getting the roll pin out. And I couldn't get the punch out, and it finally broke off. Then I couldn't get the broken off piece out, and it just became a fiasco. So I had to go buy a punch that would fit, and I punched it. I got it fixed finally. All right, let's try this. That feels awfully light. It's cycling though. Let's try Clyde. And the cowboy. How about a bowling pin? Yeah. Pretty nice. Let's try the gong again. There we go. That's right. Even though the sight obscures or this suppressor secures it obscures, the word I'm looking for, obscures the sight. I can see the sight and lined up, it doesn't, there's about that much I can't see, but I can kind of figure out looking through the suppressor. I have x-ray vision. So it's cool. Banish 9, I like that. Speaking of South Central, appreciate their support of the channel, all these great Banish devices. Davidson's gallery of guns. Had a couple of their firearms in on loan this week, doing videos with them. You'll see those. Probably see them again. In fact, you saw one. Yeah, you saw one on Friday. Yeah, the Marlin. Just did a little fun video about the cowboy guns being so loud. Speaking of suppressors, but yeah, appreciate Davidson's gallery of guns. You get a lifetime replacement guarantee with your firearm. And then SDI.edu. Check them out and get yourself some learning. Yeah, come by again the 26th at the NRA meeting and see the folks there at SDI from 1 to 2, and then of course South or Central that morning from 10 to 11, and me too if you want to. I'll be there. Okay. I don't know if I'll have some of my targets. I'll take to that or not. But anyway, yeah, appreciate everybody's help. And then Alabama holster, best little Kydex concealment holsters on planet Earth. Okay, so as long as you're on planet Earth, you're in good shape. And they might arrange shipment elsewhere, you never know, if you need it. Talon grips, Ballistol, fun gun targets. They got the target packs. Check them out online. And they sell these targets, you know, to individuals, you know, packs of them, that kind of thing. Not this exact target with our target, but targets like that, with zombies and everything. They have all kinds of choices. What else was I going to lie about? I don't know. Oh, I got another firearm. And I didn't start out with it for the usual reason. You know why, don't you? Am I recording? Yeah. Am I dumb? Yes. Am I recording? Yeah, by accident. You know, my weaknesses. I've admitted, you know, I'm not even ashamed of it, really. It's just an addiction that I've always had, firearms. And you know, I have an addiction with larger bore stuff, kind of. Usually there's a 4 at the beginning, right? And that's what I have right here that I've not fired yet. This is a model 24. So many of you already know what chambering that is. Model 24, blue, 6.5-inch barrel, made in the early 80s, 24-3. What is that? Well, I have no idea what chambering it is, but I'm gonna put some 44 special in it and see if they work. How's that? Is that good enough clue for you folks in Kentucky? Is that a good enough clue? Well, it could be a 44 Magnum, couldn't it? Because they would work in that. Yeah, so I'm being a smart aleck. But I don't have a 44 Magnum round out here. How come, huh? Tell me. Because it wouldn't do any good. I don't have anything to fire it in. Okay, I've not fired this, so all I did was I painted the front side a little bit. Can you see where I put a little white paint on that this morning? So let's see. let's start out cautiously here. I'll put one on the SDI badge. See how the sights are from right here. Okay, about the Alabama state there. All right, so the sights aren't off too bad. If I were off like 4 inches to the right at whatever that is, 3-4 yards, I'd be in trouble trying to hit the cowboy, right? Let's try him. All right. So maybe it's adequate for the usual defense scenarios, up close and dirty. Let's try the, well, let's just hold right in the middle of this plate right here. Okay, it hit right in the middle. Windage looks good. I'm gonna hold right on that hit. It should go a little high, I think. Yeah, not bad. Let's try again. Let's try that plate that doesn't have a mark on it, the big one there. Big black one right there. Try the middle. Okay. Well, I may not have to do much sight adjustment on that thing. And then the other thing that pleases me is what? It worked. It worked. Hey, let's see, that was just some fairly light max. I got some, I got some of these 255 grain Keith semi-wad cutters from Underwood. These are serious. Yeah, I shot these before, haven't I? What was I firing these in? Something. Oh, you know what? I brought, these are Magnums. These are Magnums. Yeah, okay, I got it. I did bring Magnums. I lied to you. No, they're not Magnums. They wouldn't fit, but not because they're Magnums. Because they're 45 Colt. I picked up a box of 45 Colt. I do have some specials here. Okay, the specials I got, these are the ones I was looking to grab, and then I picked those up as an afterthought, the heavier ones. I thought they were the 44 special. So I've got some, they're 245 grain from Underwood. These are 255, that's right. That's I don't think. They're bigger semi-wide cutters for 44 special or 55. I think they're 245. I might be wrong. I was wrong once. Okay, yeah. Here we go. These are pretty nice bullets. I don't know, 1150. That's trucking for a 44 special. Notice hollow point, lead hollow point. All right, let's try that. Not that we're doing ballistics gel testing or anything. I let other people play with the jelly. All right. I'm too busy shooting cowboys and pigs and rams, sheep, and all that kind of thing. Those look like nice bullets. I wouldn't be adverse to carrying that. All right, cowboy, let's put one on you. It's 44 special. Yeah, it's got some juice behind it. Let's try the Clyde. Yeah, got there pretty fast, didn't it? Unlike sometimes when I'm shooting 44 special, 38 special, it's like boom, clink, boom, clink. Let's try it again. I'm still waiting for it to get there. Got him, yeah, right away. Let's try the gong. All right. Mr. Piggy. Yeah, right in the kill zone. Am I empty? Yeah. So that's a nice round. 44, there's a wide range with 44 special ammo. Don't think of it as just because I and others probably mention how it's comparable to a 45 ACP, which is no slouch. But with 44 special, especially in today's loadings, there's everything from, oh, I don't know, just something pretty slow, 650 feet per second or something. Of course, you can hand load them to whatever you want. And then right on up, 1,000, 1,200 feet per second with a bullet that's, you know, around 200, 240 grains. So you're entering not Magnum territory, but mighty close. And with the right bullet, and it, like with what I thought I had here, they load a similar bullet, semi-wide cutter in 44 special, and I forget the weight on it, 245 grain, maybe it's 250, and it's trucking, because I knew when I touched those off, wow, okay, felt like I had my Magnum in my hand. And then I've seen people test those semi-wide cutters in general, hard cast, in any larger caliber. And boy, do you get penetration out of those things. Too much. Who was I watching? Somebody, maybe it was Gun Sam or somebody with, and maybe it wasn't a 44, but it was a semi-wide cutter and had two gelatin blocks, you know, stacked end to end. And a lot of the rounds are going pretty deep in the first one. Then he got to, it might have been 44 special, but it was a hard cast semi-wide cutter bullet, Keith type bullet, or a wad cutter, same thing. And man, it went through both gel blocks totally. And I think he had a blanket or something on the back, and you could see it hit that and all that. So you get tons of penetration. So if you see somebody walking around, the moral to that story is, if you see somebody carrying around a 44 special or even 357 in the woods in bear country, don't think they're totally stupid. Oh, you should have a 500 mag, you know, or a 454 Cosol. You know, like how much penetration, do you really need? If that bullet's going to go all the way through whatever it came out of, whatever it's going into and through, that's what you want. But not necessarily for regular, defensive ammo. But yeah, that's nice. It's always a relief and good to learn when you pick up a new firearm a different firearm. I don't know how brand new it is. It's just essentially like new. And it shoots pretty much right on, as best you can tell right away. And then on top of that, it shoots. At least it works, because you never know. You could pull it up and click, nothing happened. And that happened to me once. What was that with? It wasn't a firearm I had bought. It was one I borrowed. And yeah, was it the 1876 Winchester reproduction made by Chiappa or somebody we borrowed? I'm thinking that was it. Might be remembering wrong. Got everything ready, went out, had never fired one. Target up and stuff, and was trying it out, and just click, click, couldn't get it to fire. Turns out the firing pin was not in it. I think that was the case, if I'm remembering right. This was a long time ago. No, that was I think it was a different one. It wasn't that one. It was a different, some kind of rifle though, Uberti or whatever. Yeah. I think it was one that was sent to us by Taylor's and Company, just on loan, way back when we would do that with them, and it did that. No, it wouldn't fire. And it turns out it was one they sent that had been at a gun show, NRA meeting, or a SHOT Show. And where's my water? Losing my voice. At those events, speaking of the NRA meeting and exhibits coming up, they take all the firing pins out of all the firearms. And so that was one that they had at that event. You didn't have a firing pin in it. So it has something. Okay, yeah, that's right. It came to me. All right, so here we go, another contrast. Big revolver and 9mm suppressed. Pretty cool. I've got another mag load here, 150 grain ammo. Let's shoot some of that. I'm probably neglecting to tell you a bunch of stuff. Hope you've seen the videos this week. I messed up and posted 2 on Tuesday. And it was an accident. I changed horses in midstream, and I had them scheduled. I rescheduled one, and I didn't reschedule the other. I noticed they were both live. The Glock 19X MOS video and the 642 Ultimate Carry, revolver on the same day. So we're not going to post any more videos for a month. No, just kidding. And on the M1 carbine hate video we did, you're right, the people that made a comment. There's not a lot of hate out here amongst us regular folks that just like to shoot guns. There's not a lot of hate. I don't really run into people that hate or don't like the M1 carbine. It's what I was referring to is seems like so many experts, even military experts and firearms experts, you read about enough, you'll see that it was a kind of a failure in the field, and all this anecdotal evidence about how it wouldn't shoot through enough layers of clothing somewhere in Korea or somewhere, and all this kind of thing because of one incident, or someone saw someone shoot somebody 3 times and they kept coming, and someone had to shoot them with a 30-06. And that might be true, but you can find just as many anecdotal stories like that about a 12-gauge slug or a 44 mag. I mean, really, they're out there. And because it depends on where that bullet hits exactly, what it runs through. And but by and large, they were really well liked by the soldiers, generally speaking. That's what I'd have wanted to carry. Yeah, you hear, the Garand's a great rifle, but you can have that. Just give me the carbine. I'll be good. If we end up needing to plink at somebody at 600 yards, I'll help spot for you. You shoot them, and then when they get within 3, I'll shoot them. Yeah, but anyway. Any anecdotal evidence, as they call it, you know what anecdotal evidence is. You can find a story to support anything you would like to promote, right? I mean, you just can. It's just easy. So you can find 5 people who have had so much trouble with a car or a vehicle that you've had no trouble with, and nobody you know has had any trouble with them. They're wonderful. But I guarantee you can find 5 people complaining on the internet, or 1,000, whatever, that have had some issue with them. And it may just be 2 people have had a big problem with something, and it gets really blown up, especially now, social media, right? Or someone writes a book, and they've got a vendetta against, for some reason, the M1 carbine or the 1911 or whatever it is. Well, as they write, they're going to be looking for negative things about it, either consciously or subconsciously, right? It's just like I always caution my students when we would study nonfiction. I said, really, is there such a thing as nonfiction? You know, we talk about what books and writings fall into the category of nonfiction, and you know, let them list a bunch of stuff, whether it's magazine articles or autobiographies, biographies, you know, and all the different things, how to, and then we talk about, you know, who the author is, and whether the author could have an agenda or not. For example, if I'm a diehard leftist politically, and I'm writing a autobiography or a biography about, I don't know, Richard Nixon or Donald Trump or George Bush, or you know, someone who's a conservative, it's going to be really hard for me to be objective, isn't it? Even if I try my best, and then vice versa. If I'm a really far right conservative and I'm writing a biography about, you know, Obama or Clinton or whoever, or Biden, it's, you know, it's just going to be shaded, isn't it? It's going to be colored. There's no way around that from my own perspective. And then if I want to, I can consciously bring out the anecdotal evidence again to make somebody look really, really bad or look really, really good. So it's hard to know fact from fiction. What is nonfiction? Is there anything really that really is nonfiction? Okay, am I real? Am I really here? Never know. All right, let's plug something else. 150 grain. Cowboy. Yeah. I like hitting that barrel. You can hear it. Normally you really can't hear the barrel being hit when you shoot at it, because it just goes through it, and you're still suffering from the sound of the gunfire, you know. Oh, another right there. This really does look like an assassin's. Well, people see too much fiction. Speaking of that, they think of suppressors for assassins, right? That's a pretty nice rig. You know, I'm really pleased. What a genius I am. I am just so glad I thought of this. To rig up my my Beretta 92 with a threaded barrel. I'm not going to leave this on all the time, but you know, I've got a thread protector in my pocket. But it'll just have a little bit longer barrel, you know, the deal there. And yeah, like, why not? It's a big old gun anyway. It doesn't matter if the barrel sticks out a little bit. It's a big old gun. It's not something I'm going to have in my pocket or even on my belt. So yeah, I like that. And that Banish 9 is very cool, very light, very light. If anybody ever asks you about titanium, it's light. It's light. Yeah. I'm waving it around. I mean, after I unloaded it and fired it, but pretty cool. And I like the Beretta 92. I do not. Over the years, I've probably been more negative than I should. Again, though, well, you notice when I think I was firing my first shots or early on, you know, it wouldn't fire. Oh yeah, I got to push the safety forward. I will never get used to that, because that's so the opposite of any firearm I have ever carried that had a safety, like the 1911 and others. You swipe down, yeah. And this one's the opposite, and I don't care how big a Beretta lover you are, that's funky. To me, that is funky. Unless it's the only gun I shoot, the only gun I carry ever. And you get used to that, and that's your mode of operation. But anyway, pretty cool. Yeah, big old bread. But I was gonna say, I do like them. They're just so smooth, and so shootable. Great triggers, just the whole 9 yards. So, I like that. I mean, it doesn't come close to a nice revolver. Yeah, speaking of 44, yeah, I think we equate Smith & Wesson so much, the big ones, with 44, probably because even from the early days, you know, they had the 44 calibers, even though the very early ones were 45 because they had the heel type bullet and all that. But the Schofield was 45. But you know, when they started making the triple lock, the hand ejector in 44, when the 44 special cartridge came out, which was what, 1907, 8. And then there's just a long series of 44s, a pretty popular firearm. Then they converted it to 45 ACP for the war, World War I. But then they were making it in 44, these 44 second model, third model, fourth models, and Smith & Wesson has always loved a 44. And with a few 45s in there as well, right? Can I shoot this again? All right. I am pleased. Yeah, I like this. It's funny, I got it out of the safe and I had to do a double take because, oh man, after I got over here, I said, oh man, I got taken it out of the sock. Dude, I grabbed a 44 mag, my Dirty Harry gun, because it is, if you didn't know that, it is the exact same configuration except for the contoured barrel. All right. Okay. 44 slugs are pretty good for bowling. What did I tell you? Yeah. Double action or single. Let me throw one of these at the gong. Now those are a little slower. What about it, Clyde? I'll give you a time, you'll know it's coming. Do I have another one? Yeah. 44 special, if you have a 44 Magnum around, and maybe you have thought that 44 special is too expensive, the ammo is not cheap usually. But if you got a 44 Magnum, you got any kids around or anybody that doesn't like recoil, get a box of 44 special, and something that's not a barn burner. This MagTech I bought, I've had around a while. I don't know what the velocity is on it, but it's yeah, very, very comfy to shoot. Not like my hand loads in 44 special. And if your 44 Magnum's got any size or weight to it, it would be very comfortable to shoot. Very comfortable to shoot. And it gives somebody who hasn't shot a lot maybe that added pleasure that you and I get shooting a big bullet without the massive recoil. It's kind of nice, right? Can I shoot some more of this? Let's see, these are this hollow point. I guess I'll shoot them. Underwood gave those to me, so I'm going to shoot them. Underwood really treating us right. They're good folks, I tell you. Caleb over there, I work with. I see him at the shows and stuff. He sends ammo, and I love Underwood ammo. I've always liked it. I've bought a fair amount of it through the years, and I didn't really know the people there very well, but I've gotten to know them and the company, and many of you I know use Underwood, and they're good folks. Appreciate their help. All right. Okay, these are the hollow points, so I need to make good use of them by shooting that Desperado. Yeah, and that hog. Yeah, man, let's hit him again. And let's hit the Bigfoot, Clyde. Yeah, I didn't hear it. Got him that time. Let's see what it'll do to a 2-liter here, the big orange one. Wow. Popped it, popped it. I don't know if it was because it was a hollow point. It's a 190 grain bullet, a little bit lighter than your standard load, and moving pretty fast. So that's usually the recipe for blowing up a 2-liter in a big way. Yeah, just hit it hard with a fairly fast bullet. And hollow points sometimes, I don't know. I'd never recover one of those bullets from a 2-liter. Y'all that have done ballistics testing, you know, depends on how soft it is, but it might expand a little bit, you know, in that liquid. I don't know. It's not much liquid. It's only like that much. You know, when you think in terms of people shoot these things into like 5 and 6 jugs of water, or, you know, into ballistics gel, and they go pretty far. So I don't know. Those things are under pressure, so it's a different deal with that. So yeah, Model 24. Yeah, we'll do a video with this thing. I've never done a video with a Model 24 Smith & Wesson. Okay, this will be a first. Let me think before I lie. I have never owned a Model 24. That's another reason I've never done a video with one I've never owned. I've always liked them. For those who don't know, it's again, it's the same, it's an exact replica of the Dirty Harry gun, except the cylinder's not quite as long. You notice the forcing cone on the bullet, there's a little bit more space right here between the cylinder, front of the cylinder, and the frame. Okay, so they use basically the same frame, and it's just a slightly shorter cylinder. Okay, and the forcing cone is a little bit longer. The barrel comes back a little further. Okay, you notice that. It's one of the giveaways when you see a firearm like I can tell that's a 44 Special just by looking at it, or something shorter cartridge than a Magnum. And then the barrel is contoured. I'll open it up here. You can see the end of the barrel. It doesn't have a thick barrel. It doesn't need a thick barrel. Even a 44 Magnum doesn't have to have a thick barrel, but for the weight, the added weight is nice. So it's contoured. You notice it's thicker right here, then it contours down. It's thin. I think most of us like revolvers like that. The Model 27, the Model 28's like that. The mountain guns are like that. Why? Because it takes some of the weight out of the barrel. Same reason. Look at all your mountain guns, 41, 44, 45, you know, my stainless mountain gun, 45 Colt, I've had out a few times, you know, it has that contoured barrel. It contours down, and it's just a thinner material. So makes it lighter. And this thing balances beautifully for that reason. It doesn't feel as barrel heavy as Magnums do. It feels very good in your hand. And you still get a lot of power if you need it. All right, it's not like I'm selling them, you know. I can't help it. I can't help it. I guess I'll shoot that one more time and I'll let you go. Oh, I haven't given any young people advice. How you going to make it through the week? How you going to make it? Huh? Well, you know, someone wrote that wisdom, so why do I even try to throw out anything of use? Wisdom is, I don't know who said it, some famous person, famous philosopher, you know, maybe, I don't know. I was going to make a joke, but that wisdom is not communicable to youth or something like that. That the wisdom of experience is incommunicable to youth, something like that. Maybe an Emerson. He and I used to hang around a lot together. And it's so true. You just can't. And then I was reading a book, I can't think of his first name, Housel, The Psychology of Money, and he had something in there, I'm not sure he quoted who said it, but that some lessons have to be experienced before they can be understood. Same thing, right? Some lessons just have to be experienced before they can be understood. So anyway, you know, young people don't really listen very well to their elders. That's, you know, what it's all about, right? I didn't, you don't probably. We do sometimes, but by and large, No, yeah, right, tell me about it, yeah, old man, go ahead. But I'm not listening. So it's almost impossible to communicate the experience that you and I have had, if you've had experience, to young people, because we may not do it well, but also they don't listen to it. It's just they've got to live it for the most part. They've got to make those mistakes and all that. So anyway, the point is to young people is just know that you're probably not going to listen well enough to people that have had experience, that have made the same mistakes you're about to make. We have a tendency, we just don't want to listen. We don't want to pay heed. We want to barge on through and do it ourselves. But maybe just being aware of that is one of the negative characteristics, I guess, of being young, that all of us have when we're young. And that not listening to people who have been through something a few times can have results. It can have permanent results, so negative results, can it? Not gaining from the experience of others, the mistakes of others. That just makes sense. Learn from the mistakes of others, and most of us do that. We just don't do it as much when we're young, probably. But just being aware that we have that tendency, might help. Just be conscious of that. It's kind of like knowing that you have a temper. If you have a bad temper, you probably know you do. Or if you have a tendency to drive too fast or whatever kinds of things, you're probably aware of it. But really be aware of it, have it on your mind, and it might, it might help to just be aware that it's one of the downfalls that you have. Of course, I don't have any negative character traits. No, I'm aware of my negative traits, my procrastination and disorganization sometimes. I'm aware of my foibles, and that helps, just being aware of it, so you can kind of work on it as you go along. Anyway, that's if you use young people. But why am I even giving you that advice? I just said you're not listening, right? Okay. How about you listen to this advice? Get you a revolver someday. I bet you're listening to that, right? Because it's a firearm and it's fun to shoot. Why am I shooting it again? Well, let's go up here and shoot something. I just decided to wear that old hog out. He gets neglected some Sundays, doesn't he? I think some Sundays I don't even shoot the guy, the poor guy. He gets neglected way more probably than Clyde does over there on the hill. But anyway, so I'm giving you lessons on suppressors and old revolvers and 44s. Like I said, they've been making basically this revolver forever. It's under different name. They used to name them. Then they started assigning, Smith & Wesson started assigning model numbers in about 1957, 1958. Before that, you got all these names of guns. I've talked about that. The Chief Special, the Registered Magnum. These things were, my gosh, hand ejector, triple lock. The first ones were triple lock. They had an extra lock on the yoke there. But they're the same gun, basically, with a few changes. Then it was a second model, hand ejector and all that. Think about it. Back in the 1800s, if you had a Smith & Wesson that used cartridges, it probably was a top break, like the Schofield, the number 3s that broke right there, had a hinge here and broke that way. You've seen mine. Well, later in the century, about the end, 1898, 99, they came up with the hand ejector idea. Swing out cylinder like that and eject the cartridges with your hand. Oh, hand ejector. That's where that comes from. If you've ever seen that or heard it, if you ever heard it, it's because you swing out the cylinder and you eject them with your hand. Yeah, the triple lock, same thing. It was just another name people got to call it, okay? So then you had hand ejector, like the second model, hand ejector third model, fourth model, that kind of thing. So that's where that comes from, hand ejector. It's not some totally different animal. It's just the thing that it's just the revolver that you've got. It's the revolver I've got in my pocket. Same thing. It's a hand ejector. Same thing. Okay. Gosh, I should invoice you all, send you a bill for this Sunday. All right, so I've had fun. It's a beautiful day. Temperature's almost perfect. These firearms are great. They've worked, I guess I could say, perfectly, right? I haven't, but they have. And so everything is perfect, except my brain, and there's not much I can do about that. So I hope to see you at the NRA meeting, okay? And I'll be there, you know, milling around looking at all the cool stuff. So say hi to me, but especially come to the meet and greets at Silencer Central that morning on Saturday from 10 to 11, and then at the SDI booth from 1 to 2 on Saturday. 'Cause I'll be mad at anybody who doesn't show up. Yeah, I will. I may send you some hate mail, so keep an eye on your mailbox if you're not there at one of those meet and greets. You know, I'm either gonna send you some hate mail. I might come to your house and just harass you. I might just send the IRS after you or something like that. I don't know. I'll think of something. So anyway, I will see you later, and I'm glad that you were here today, and I really do appreciate your support. Keep track of what we're doing. We're doing a lot of dumb stuff, and like I said, every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday we post on this channel. And then sporadically, well, not too sporadically, it's sporadic on the Talks channel, but John is every day, he and Jesse, on the, I think every day on the Shoots channel and on the Clips channel. So there's some more fun shooting and stuff over there. That's content from the existing videos, just pulled out. And there was something I was going to mention on the Talks channel. What was it? Maybe I did that last week. You know, I did the talk there, where, like when I'm gone or something, about posting, having John post anything after I'm gone or vice versa. I think I mentioned that on Sunday. It wasn't, and I've seen some of the comments on there. It's not like I've gotten old and I'm depressed and I think I'm on my last days or something. I'm just thinking, okay, what do people mention? What comes up in comments or messages occasionally that would be kind of like our FAQ videos we've done. We've done over 100 of them now, I think, just answering common questions. So I kind of look at the Talks channel as something like that, except to go into more depth and rambling, whereas the playlist of Hickok 45 FAQ videos, there's about 100 of those. Those are like less than a minute long. So check that out if you do have questions. They're all short and high interest. So the Talks channel is kind of a chance to do that. Things that people have asked me about, or things that keep coming up, or just something that's on my mind. You know, I saw someone today or this week asked me to talk about my favorite cars. I think I've had that comment before. I guess there's a lot of car people out there. I'm not as much a car person. I'm not a mechanic. I used to change my oil and plugs, spark plugs and everything. Have changed the coil, or spark plug wires and everything. I don't know. These days they're so complicated. I don't even change oil like a lot of you anymore. I've never been like I am with firearms about cars. But I do like cars. I find them very interesting. I've had a lot of different ones. A 55 Pontiac, my first car, a 63 Buick Wildcat, convertible, and I've just you name it. I had a 1965 Volkswagen bus back in the 70s, early 70s. I was not even a hippie. And I've just had some interesting vehicles. The Honda Element, I still have the Honda Ridgeline, but I've moved to GMC Yukons since 2016 or 17, and I like those. I had my first job outside of education in the 80s, and I was making a little bit of money and a nice bonus a couple of times, all this stuff. I remember driving by a Chevrolet dealership, seeing a Corvette sitting out front, and I stopped, got looking around, and I think, would I ever want one of those? I wasn't sure what they cost. I think they're pretty expensive, and is that even an option? Would I ever want one of those things? And so I like a neat car, a cool car. It's just some of the coolest cars are sports cars, and I'm not interested in climbing into a go-kart, climbing down into a go-kart, and then every time I get out of it, back up out of it, just because of my size. Even if I can get in, I've owned VW Beetles, before, at my current height, and I can get in them. I used to drive them, but I don't know. I got to a point where I'm just tired of climbing down into something, kind of folding up, and having to have this driver's seat back so far, or leaning back in addition to being back as far as we'll go. And I just discovered these Yukons. Man, they've got room. They have room to spare. The seat's there's almost too much leg room. I just can't get used to it almost. And plenty of headroom, even with a sunroof. Used to be that I couldn't look at anything with a sunroof. You guys, I had a couple of Volvos in the 80s, and I always had to find one with no sunroof because it brought the ceiling down just enough to my head would rub a little bit and bug me and kind of thing. So I guess I am telling you about cars, so I need to save all that information for a talks video on cars, don't I? So you get me started and I can't stop. So yeah, this is fun. I may hang around here a while and just shoot these a little bit more. You won't be mad at me, will you? Because these are two fun guns. Yeah, really. Two fun guns. 44 Special, 9mm suppressed out of a Beretta 92 FS. Doesn't get a lot better. So y'all come back next Sunday, and I'll probably talk. Was there any other announcements? I guess not. I guess not. So anyway, I always make a couple of notes, things I want to remember. So hope to see you in Atlanta on the 26th, and just make sure you're behaving yourself. And if you see me there at the convention and I'm walking around with a couple of young blondes, those are my sisters that live in Atlanta. Yeah, just kind of show them around the convention. Okay, just keep that story in mind. All right. So anyway, I'll see you there. Life is good.